So, Hermitage
Oh,
has also a huge collection of imperial gifts and royal gifts by European powers. So, you are going to see unbelievably high quality European arms and armor. So, this
oh.
is unbelievable. You will
If
see that.
this is an indication, you're not kidding. This is yeah. Again, this is what princes wore.
Yes.
Dukes probably couldn't afford this,
You
but
know,
princes.
living in Germany, and as many people know, Germany has many castles, fortunately, many museums, arms and armor, and many armor, European armor. You see sometimes quality armor like that, but not on one spot like here, right?
Yeah,
You know, they're like for fighting in Germany, you know what I mean, right?
yeah,
But like this, boo, you know,
yeah.
unbelievable.
I think the Cossack commander who made such inroads in conquering Siberia, I think he was given a European plate armor by the Tsar Ivan.
Mm.
And it really stood out because no, it's probably the first full plate armor that had been seen in Siberia, and people are going, "Oh, how do you get through that?"
Yeah. So let us go and look at some of them. Beat look.
See, this is again really good design work. You can see in the armor on the right. Notice the little crowns that are all over it.
Hmm.
So we've got crowns with various leaves and things coming out of
Oh
them.
yeah,
We've
that's
got
right. I see that. Yes.
yeah, and fleur de lis. Now that's not just an armor with decoration on it. That's clearly made for somebody of extremely high rank
Yes.
because you can't just stick crowns on your armor.
No, we can't.
That's it's not so much you're inviting people to fight with you. The local duke would come out and take you out of your armor, beat you to a pulp, and keep your armor because ordinary people are not allowed to wear stuff like this.
Yes.
The one on the left is strikingly well designed, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would stand out across. Well, I don't know. It might be part of an armor for fighting on foot in
Unbelievable.
Gauss. It doesn't seem neither one of them's. Well, maybe the one on the right does, but I can't see any trace of a lance rest
Mhm.
on the physical right hand side of the armor. Uh,
Yeah.
the helmet is closed and designed that you have to tilt your head down to see out. But if you see something coming at you, you can just lift your head and your eyes are protected.
Yes.
Um, Even the one behind that one on the right, the one
Mhm.
on the left, the bright you can see it's got patterns all over it.
Yeah.
Um, this is good quality stuff. You see the one on the left has asymmetric shoulders, so that the left
Mhm.
shoulder has bigger pauldron extensions or whatever that's called. Um, Whereas the right one is much freer, so you can move your arm around.
Mhm.
The gold one on the right, um, that's more symmetrical,
Yes.
possibly because it was meant to be worn on foot, or the kind of the pattern of it was meant to be worn on foot. I'm not sure, but I think the upper parts of the arms are on. They swivel around, but you can see that they kind of fit together, and
Mhm.
the one on the armor's left arm, it's pulled apart a bit, but the one on the right, they're closely fitting, like two swiveling rings. This is a characteristic of some plate armor in the West. It's I think inspired some ideas for spacesuits because they're trying to work out how you can make things move around but
Mhm.
not leak air.
Yeah.
And then they worked out, wait a minute, we had a look at this and this works really well. We just have to make it airtight.
Yes.
Um, So yeah, the ideas that these inspire are still useful to this day. We have some kind of that's a much better picture of that, and that's an
Yes.
excellent picture of the other one.
Please,
See that
indeed,
piece
look
rod
at the
shape?
one on the left side. This is no
Mhm.
longer an armor. This is a sculpture.
It's a sculpture, and when you wear it, it's jewelry.
When you wear his jewelry, you're right. It is.
It's just it's amazing, isn't it?
Amazing,
Oh,
amazing.
so the whole the surface is blackened, and then they inlay it with gold, and oh,
Yeah,
it's just so much.
it's
And
unbelievable.
keeping that, I mean, consider. I'm guessing this is 17th century.
Yeah,
Uh, Keeping that in that condition for 300 or more years is amazing.
yeah. Our colleagues from Hermitage are really, they have very good restorers and really experience in this. I have to
Oh
say,
yeah, yeah.
I know many of them. I think some of them also worked with us and wrote for Parse Journal. Do you remember, Pete, when we,
Yeah, yeah.
they're really
This is
good.
just,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, this is something that any culture should be proud of,
yeah,
that they've got these skills and they're
yes,
keeping alive
yes,
the because this is the heritage of
yes,
everybody in Russia
yes,
and the rest of the world as well, really. And to see it so well cared for is wonderful. The armor, both of them have basically what's called a peas cod breastplate, which kind of goes away from the body,
yeah,
particularly down towards the top of the belly, because again, these fit on the waist, the real waist, not your hips. So
yeah,
they're sitting quite high on the body, which gives you the flexibility to move around.
yes,
Um, but that's a later style that has a functional purpose, but it's really copying the fashion of the time because
yes,
clothes were made like that in that shape. That was considered like the Elizabethan period in England, and that was considered to be stylish, but it also worked, so that was advantageous.
yeah,
And these, these are, well, I'm looking, the one on the right,
hmm,
the plainer looking armor, unless you look at the
hmm.
subtle decoration all over it, has a larger left shoulder guard, which
Yes,
is
it does.
typical of a jousting armor or a battle armor as well, because you know that was one of the things you had to guard against. The one on the right, they're even, and I think, and I can easily be corrected because there's a lot of people that know this stuff, is more likely for fighting on foot because you there's no advantage to having one bigger than the other when you're on foot.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, unbelievable.
Mm.
Here we can see a bit more, right?
Yeah. At the back, I think these are the bolt-on pieces when you're going into a full-on joust, as
Yes,
opposed to a battle, that
yes,
they bolt onto the side of your armor and act, and you can see how it's meant to fit around the neck. I mean,
yes.
it's really impressive, and that's to prevent, serious injury during the joust. We must point out, though, that for all of this armor, super reinforced for jousting. I think one king of France was killed in a joust.
Yes.
Henry VIII probably suffered brain damage from several jousting accidents, and was in constant pain from injuries for the latter half of his life. I mean,
You know,
jousting,
I
even
don't want to say this is not very nice. Look, I don't want to guys generalize, but regarding all these strikes you get, it's like I met once. I think my boy now, my son is an avid, okay, next to martial arts. He does basketball, so basketball player. And in the beginning, he tried a bit of rugby and also
yeah,
American football. But then later on, he just said, "No, I do martial arts and basketball." Anyhow,
yeah,
and when he was doing these rugby, and then there were some American football players, and then there was an American football player who came to me, sat next to me, and he's quite. I mean, in Germany, it's not that big, but we have good teams in German standards, right? Not American. And then he said to me, very professional guy, very nice guy, very nice guy, and he told me, "Ah, you're into martial arts." I said, "Yeah, yeah." And then he said to me, "Yeah, but he would never do martial arts because it's constant hit in the face, like full contact, is not good for your brain." And I said, "Well, but I think you are in the wrong sport as well." And then he looked at me.
yes.
He said,
Oh yeah, I
"Why? Why
mean,
am I in the wrong sport?" And I said, "Well, I mean, you put a helmet and you go and hit each other." He said, "Oh, here nothing happens." And I looked at him. I said, "Yeah, all right." You know what I mean? You know, Pete, you know
yeah,
what I'm
this
trying to get
yeah,
to,
the
right?
medical statistics. show that brain injuries and brain trauma for people playing all different codes of football, where there is full contact, is much higher than the general population. And it doesn't kick in until maybe 20 years after they've
Yes, yes,
retired.
that's it.
And a lot of, I mean, rugby union and Australian rules football and soccer football are really popular in Australia. And the rugby rugby union, rugby league. So one is the amateur sport, one is the professional sport. Neither one is a sport for people who are frightened of injury because they hit each other so hard.
Yes, they do.
And Australian rules, the the thing is not that they're big bruising guys running into each other. It's that they're tall, very, or some of them are tall, and very muscular people who hit each other by accident or sometimes on purpose with such force
Yeah.
that injuries are quite serious. I mean, in Australia, American football has a lot of protective gear. In Australia, you wear a jersey and shorts, and sometimes a little padded head thing if you've got problems with being hit in the head. I mean, so the degree of protection is much smaller, and a lot of injuries are common, like hamstring injuries and things like that, are common to most codes of football. But it is wrong to think that because this is a professional sport and it's on television, that it is easy for the people playing it. It's not. These guys really
Yeah.
are pushing so hard against each
Yes.
other. And
Yes. Yes.
yeah, it's pretty fierce. Oh, a very beautiful wheel lock,
Yes. Isn't it
completely encased in
beautifully?
silver.
So
Yeah, yeah,
nice. Mhm.
that's so much work gone into that.
Yes.
And let's not forget those beautiful sabatons from the
Yes,
armor
they're
in the background.
beautiful, aren't they? Right?
I
Look
think
at them.
and that I think they call it a cow's mouth. The shape of the toe where it's very square like that. Totally copied off contemporary shoes. This is purely a fashion statement. Um, the left-handed dagger
Yeah.
on the left
Yeah.
is for holding in your left hand. You can see it's got like a ring projection. So when you're holding it,
Yeah.
let me let me rotate this in my head. I think that ring is on the outside.
Yes.
I'm not good at rotating things in my head.
Oh, this is
Yes,
S-shaped card, and we have now
yeah,
one which is like this, right?
a straight one. That one's easy to understand. Um, the S-shaped guard means you can only hold it one way. This one can
Yeah.
be held either right or left-handed without any
Yes.
real trouble.
Exactly.
See how strong the blade is because it's you've got to block a sword blow with it. It's got to be very strong.
Yeah.
Um, and that little ring on the side is surprisingly effective
Mm.
for defending the hand. Though, I mean, obviously, if somebody's directly attacking your hand, it's not that effective. But if you're blocking somebody's sword where they're actually trying to attack you and you kind of knock them out of the way and then stab them with your own sword, that's quite an effective lightweight method of doing it. I'm not saying the dagger's light, but what I'm saying is you're not carrying as much
Mm.
metal as you would be. There are other kinds of left-handed daggers that have little triangular hand shields and everything on them. So we have got one of those crazy swords with a gun built into it.
Yes. This, yeah, exactly.
Let's so the sword's heavy enough. Let's make it heavier and give it a one-use weapon. And it's a wheel lock, so you have to wind it up first before you go into the.
Exactly.
Still, I don't know. These people just like making things complicated. It might have. Well, you're only going to get one shot out of it. There's no way you can reload that in battle. So you get one shot. So you're about to fence with a guy, and then you just point your sword at him and pull the trigger. And it's surprise. It might save your life, or it might make a gap in the enemy's line or something. But yeah, it does seem a bit excessive. But you've got to admire the skill in making it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That's for sure.
I mean, let's not underestimate that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's for sure.
That it's a kind of partisan on the right.
Yes, yes, very nice one actually. Yeah, very
Yeah,
nice.
so that again, that can hook weapons when you're pushing forward. It can hook weapons when you're pulling back, or
Pete, look, there
assuming
is a
somebody
hook
had a.
here as well. You see that?
Yeah, that I think is to prevent
Yeah,
somebody's blades sliding
yeah,
down it if they get
yeah.
on the flat side like that. Of course, ones as decorated as this probably didn't get used very much in anger
Mm,
because this is somebody important carried this um,
yes, yes,
as an insignia. Uh,
yes,
so that's some kind of side sword rapierish thing on the
yes,
right, and a really beautiful pommel on the one on the left, isn't it?
yeah,
Completely open work, really attractive. Actually, all the metal work on that is really nice.
yeah. These are really
Um,
high quality ones.
yeah, yeah.
All of them are.
Actually, yeah. When you look at it, you start to think everybody that was making these had a slightly different idea,
Yeah,
and they were all working towards the same goal, which is to
yeah,
give you a sword that you can get into your enemy rather quickly, and you can parry your enemy's swords, and you can protect your own hand.
yeah.
Because I mean, if somebody stabs you in the hand, well, you're not going to do a lot of fighting after that. You
No,
mightn't die or anything. I mean, you
no.
might get an infection and die, but you're out of combat.
Yes, they're out of
You can no longer actually do. I mean,
no.
maybe if you're ambidextrous, you can use your other hand.
Yes. Look at
Look
these
how long this thing
beautiful
is.
rapier bead. Look at the
Yeah,
pommel. Look at the engraving on it. Please.
beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Silver wire wrapped handle. But look at the length of it compared to that armor. It's
Yes.
completely up to his armpit.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
the
Very long. Yeah.
rapiers got so long that I think that there were laws that if your rapier was longer than 4 feet in England, that they could break the end off you.
Yes, exactly.
The problem wasn't you fighting with a super long rapier; it's you walking around the town with this thing that kept whacking other people in the legs.
Yes. They got ridiculously long, so they had to introduce a law and
Well, I mean,
regulation.
in that style of fencing, reach was everything. If your sword was longer than the other guys and you were equally skilled, you'd probably win.
Yes.
Um, oh yeah,
So funny.
the
Yes.
yeah, Marian, they're a beautiful
Yes.
helmet. Those.
Look at the beauty of this one.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's got little lions with rings in
Yes.
their mouth.
Yes.
That's. I wonder if they're solid or the rings move and they rattle when you walk.
Yeah, they have
Bit
a
weird.
ring coming out of the nose of each one.
Yeah,
What
it's
is the
so beautiful.
purpose
And
of
then,
it?
as I say, well, those are probably holding the lining into the helmet. I mean, they're the ends of the
Ah, yeah,
rivets. It's
that's
just
right.
that
That's right.
somebody just got completely carried away and said, "We'll make this, better than anybody's." These helmets, they look funny, but they were remarkably good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, they give you good vision,
Yeah.
reasonably good hearing.
Yeah.
You can breathe well because your face isn't covered. But if anybody is striking you with a sword, they're going to hit the rim, which
Yeah.
is really going to stop the sword, or they're going to go across the top and slide
Yeah.
down and then off the rim, completely away from you.
Yes. You know,
Um,
no doubt.
the central comb makes you look taller, but it's beaten out. Um, it's also really strong,
Yes.
which prevents downward strokes. See, even helmets like that have some kind of comb.
This
Not
armor
as extensive.
is really, when I was laughing the whole time when I was taking picture of this, but I think you guessed why.
Yeah, well, you've got to protect your important parts.
Yes, but in such a way.
But the thing is, ordinary clothes had codpieces like that. It was a fashion, and this is what I was saying earlier. Armor followed clothing fashion. Once they got to a certain level of skill, they could make armor that looked like anything and still work.
Look at me.
And
It is, excuse me, I know it's not politically correct. I just try to say it in a politically correct way. My colleague here in Hermitage, back then, one of the colleagues that we were going through this, she said it in a very interesting way. She said this armor was made for a man who had a very high level of testosterone, or he gave it as a present to one of my countrymen who suffered from the same syndrome. So, This
And
is,
considering
excuse
that,
me, you know.
yeah, considering that quite a few of them are much bigger than that, he doesn't stand out in a crowd of people wearing armor with cod pieces on them.
But Pete, honestly, most armor don't have such a exposed area,
No, I mean,
you know.
and unless you had a little bell in it, so if you got hit there and go ding, you're not fighting fair. But again, it just follows clothing. It's not a practical
Yeah, but
piece of
what is
armor.
the reason for having this? Honestly, practically, it doesn't make
Look,
sense.
in the Renaissance and for a period, men wore all kinds of weird decorations on their groin, and sometimes they were round, and sometimes they curved up, and it became a fashion. It was considered just a weird fashion thing in the time. They didn't think it was particularly offensive. Um,
Mm,
but they were pieces of cloth. When at the time when in particularly in Western Europe,
yeah.
uh, trousers as we know them were not considered very high status. So separate leggings. So you wore a pair of like wide leg shorts, uh, breeches, and then you had separate leggings that tied onto your belt. And just to kind of fill in the gap between the two legs, they made these things, and they became quite whimsical. Sometimes they were in the shape of animals. It's just it was a fashion thing. I mean, we have equally ridiculous fashion ideas.
Mm.
Ask yourself why men still wear ties.
No, you're
They
right.
serve no function.
No
They are
function.
purely decorative, and who knows what they originally were meant to represent. I mean, a cravat or something in the old days was to keep your neck warm. Perfectly logical. But a tie in modern times, what's it there for?
You're
And
right.
if you've got a really short tie, people laugh at you. So think about it. There's something going on there.
I understand. And look at these, Pete.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, these are wonderful.
wonderful.
Yeah. Of course, there is a bit of a problem mounting armor on horses. I noticed the second from the right, his leg armor seems to become slightly detached. But of course, it wasn't attached up under the tassets. It was attached to
Yeah,
points like laces that
yes.
came out of his arming doublet. Um, but still, that just shows you a little bit of how they were put together.
Yeah,
But this is really quite magnificent, isn't it?
yeah,
And some horse armor on the horse on the far left seems to be wearing more armor than the other horses.
yes.
The horse on the far right seems to be just dressed up. It's not really armor that
Yes.
over his chest.
Just dressed up.
It's just window dressing to show off. Um,
Yes. Look at these, Pete. Maybe we can take. Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
That's what you mean. Yep. Yep.
that's the one. Yeah, and then the one next to him is the one with his legs. Well, actually, they've both got their legs somewhat disarticulated. If you're actually sitting on a horse and the top of your thigh was sticking out that far, then your femur had come out of its socket. But I, I honestly, unless you have special mannequins made to sit on the horses, you're going to have a lot of trouble putting this armor on horses.
Yeah.
Metropolitan Museum of Art, where they've got lots of money, the Royal Armouries in England and in France as well. Um, they have beautifully mounted figures, Museo Stivet in Florence. But that's because they had a lot of money when they were doing it, and they could hire people that could make these mannequins that you could put the armor on, and they would sit perfectly on the horses. It still gives you an idea of where everything goes. Oh, this is a full barding.
Yes.
Oh,
Look at this one.
that's that's spectacular. So the
Spectacular.
steel has been blackened in most places, but we've got edging in bright steel or silver. Um, we've got the two
Yeah.
balls on the chest.
Yes. This is also, you can see the horse here better, but yeah, this is the same
Yeah.
thing. Sure.
Well, the thing is, also this is the neck is protected right up until the jaw almost,
Yes.
and it's all meant to slide backwards and forwards so the horse can still move its neck, which is very important to the horse because that's part of the way the horse balances itself by extending its neck or arching it back or whatever. So, so it's really quite well made. I I wonder how many people in an army actually wore armor this extensive on their horse, though, because I'm guessing there's a lot more metal in that armor than there is in the knight sitting on it, because
Yeah.
horses are much bigger than we are.
Yes. And now we go to the next two sets.
Again, these are kind of variations of Peascod armors. So
Yes.
you're looking at what 16th century, something like that, I suppose.
Yes.
The helmets are really nice. All of the helmets are really nice, actually.
Very nice.
Um, the fluted helmet on the right picture in the left side, that's really beautifully done.
Very beautiful.
I think this was a fashion in Germany for fluted armor, yeah, in the 1500s,
Yes.
or something like that. It's just so skillfully done.
Yeah. Also very interesting large sword and also another long sword. Really nice.
Yeah, yeah, too. I mean that they're virtually full height of a man.
Yeah.
The one on the in the right picture on the left is more like a great sword, but the one in the picture on the left, um, that's a full two-handed sword.
Yes.
That would do a bit of damage. Oh, here I love these armors where we've taken somebody wearing puffed fabric clothes and just made it out of steel. And they still work as armors, but they're just so spectacular.
Spectacular. Yeah.
I'm
Really.
sure you had to be really rich to afford one of those, and you can understand why they'd be given as presents
Yeah.
because it's just such a show off piece.
Yeah.
And then we have a series of really functional daggers.
Yes, this rondel daggers, they're really nice. High quality.
And like the one on the extreme left is just your basic style with the disc at the top and a disc at the bottom, a thin handle. Then the next one's got a studded handle, so you've got a really good grip. Because I mean, these are for stabbing people in the joints of their armor when they're on the
Yes.
ground, basically, I
Yes.
suppose. And the one at the extreme right with its twisted grip, that's really attractive too.
Very nice.
Oh,
Speed look.
yes, that's a nice helmet. It's interesting. It's got different shaped holes on different sides of the body.
Mhm.
So the side that if you're adjusting that is unprotected, that's going forward, has small holes. The side that is more protected has larger holes. Everything's designed to make it possible to breathe properly. It's interesting too. It's got a double slit for the eyes on
Double.
both sides. That's quite unusual. And then we've got that beautiful sword on the left-hand photograph
Yeah.
with a very strong ricasso and then a diamond section blade.
Diamond section.
Beautiful pommel, and
Yeah.
the upper part of the hand grip is really sculptural, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And it's got a nest-shaped guard with two rings. So really nice stuff.
Yeah.
See that armor again. These it's got a lance rest and a bigger like the left hand pauldron is bigger because you're charging like this. You get more protection on that side, but on this side you've got your hand up. You've got the kind of lance there. You've
Yes.
got the rest that the back of the lance sits on. Everything is locked together. Again, we've got those nice 16th, 15th, 16th century shoes. The helmet on the right is really unique looking.
Yeah.
I've never seen one like that.
Very nice. Yeah. Unique.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, I assume you wear it right down. I don't know, like a salad. Um,
Yeah.
I really don't know. I've never seen one like that.
Yeah.
Because those slits otherwise would be just dangerous holes. But if they're eye slits, it means that the helmet sits down here,
Yeah.
not up there.
That's okay.
It's got a integrated bevel to protect the throat.
Yeah.
Um, really interesting. See, it's beautifully made. Like it's very high quality metalwork, but it's just really interesting. It's not a design I've ever seen. I'm sure
Yeah.
there are a lot of armor
That's good. That's
experts.
that again, these type of things when you look at different museums opens our eyes to see how hard a modern classification is. Really.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How hard a modern
It's
classification is.
yeah. I think some of the people in the early days had it easy because they only knew about 100 different armors.
Yes, exactly. Back then it was easier. Today it's
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
I mean, good on them. I mean, they started the ball rolling. We're still working on the basis of these
Yes,
original
that's true.
ideas. So